Jason McLaren with the Leadership Loading Podcast, and today we're talking about leadership and your soul mission, soul, S-O-U-L mission. And we're with Swanette Kuntze, and she is going to join us, and we're going to talk about leadership and just the mindset and getting out there and getting out of your rut. So Swanette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. So, of course, we always start with, tell us a little bit about your background, and of course, where you're from, and what you're doing out there with your spiritual change maker program.
Yes, thank you so much. For me, it is like speaking about what happened in my life is following kind of my mission. And I started at the age of 8 years old when I had my near-death experience. And it was a moment when I was confronted with spirituality and understanding that there's more than what we have as this bio body, that there is more like a soul or a spirit. And I went into understanding more about life and went into science. I have a medical background and I'm an environmental engineer. So seeing everything from the perspective of science. And then I was driven into understanding more about humans and about behaviors, about pattern. And so I went into this field of being a coach and business consultant, and also studied business coaching and economy. So for me, this was the part, okay, I need to understand a bit more about why people behave in a certain way and why are they blocked and why can't they really open up and get connected to their intuition, for example. And then the next step was I went back into spirituality because I had kind of a reawakening myself some years ago. So this is kind of the journey. And now I feel like it's full circle. So I started there and went around. And yeah, in the middle, you can see it's all about life.
Definitely. And I think that as leaders, we're always looking for ways to determine our purpose, really. And you may start off at your job or at your own company if you're starting your own business. What's your purpose and finding the passion for that. So how does that reflect on people that are trying to make that change and move forward in their career or in their personal goals?
Yeah, often we start at a very young age to decide what will be our future or in our job, in our career. And so often we are not even mature enough to understand what is really driving us. So often it is like, okay, this sounds like being a good job, or because my parents are, for example, doctors or lawyers, this is kind of the tradition of the family, so let's do that. Or because at the moment people are hired because they have this kind of education, let's study that. So it is not really that at the age we decide what we want to become, we really can, because we haven't done our inner work. We don't have understood what is really kind of our mission in this world. And often we see it that people start in their career and then they jump into another job and then into another job, kind of searching, okay, it can be this or can be that, and end up in a very different job, like me starting in medicine and being an engineer, now working as a mindset coach. This is really a totally different thing I'm doing, but still it is about something that drives me, like seeing things from different perspectives, understanding problems, finding the root of the problem, and then building up a strategy and of course finding a solution that is sustainable. This is what I've done all the years. This is not changing, but of course the topic is changing. And what I see is that people have sometimes kind of their special moments when they get this feeling or this intuition, I need to change something, like the job is either boring or I'm close to a burnout, where I have also been, and I need to change something. So when you understand for yourself, like, okay, this is a kind of nice job, I can do that, but no, it there's nothing that really brings me up in the morning, like no Monday morning, and yeah, let's go and no, let's do this job. If you don't feel like that, then you are not on your purpose. If you have this feeling like, okay, I could even do that if I wouldn't get money, because I really feel inspired, I feel that I make a change in the world, whatever this is. It can be in arts, it can be in working with people or bringing technology forward, whatever it is. But if you don't have the feeling that this is really driving you and you really feel, okay, I want to make this, whatever comes in the way, I really want to bring this out, then you're not on your path of your soul purpose.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you're talking about your power and your motivation. And I think that on your website, you're talking about people that work at a pace that most people cannot see. And I think a lot of leaders work at those paces. You know, we're always moving forward and trying to not just be busy, but we've got our tasks, we've got things we got to get accomplished throughout the day. And we have a very strict regimen almost that we have to exceed and move forward. And we can't just sit stagnant throughout the day because we want to get that accomplished. So I think y'all's program over there is something that could help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I see is that people have an idea what is the next step to go up the ladder, and then they're at the top, and then the question comes up often when they're in the Middle Ages, and what now? Yeah, so I've done everything that society thinks is good, like what I have been conditioned to think is also my path. But then there is something like, for example, they get very sick, or they feel that, yeah, this can't be everything that I have done. Like the feeling, if I now die, what is my legacy? So, and if you have this kind of feeling, then, okay, ask yourself, what would I really like to do? And often we have, because of our conditioning, blocks about ourselves, like perhaps the idea, I can't be an entrepreneur because nobody in our family has been an entrepreneur. Or I'm not good enough in my expertise. I have to study more, or no, if I compare myself with others, I'm not the best, or whatever it is that is blocking you. And often we feel that this comes up when we come out of corporate world into becoming an entrepreneur, because then you are the brand. Then you are the one that is standing in front, and you have to show up with your whole personality. And I see that people often then start to struggle. They can be very successful in corporate world, but as soon as they have to sell themselves, so to say, or their own products, it becomes difficult, because now they know, okay, it's all on me. I have to show up. And the question, who am I really that I can do this? So, and yes, I help people with overcoming this kind of blockages and whatever is holding them back, like if they feel they go in loops or ups and downs, and to clear this all out so that the path is free to move forward and really bring into the world what you're called to do here.
Definitely, I think that goes into following your heart, not your head. I think a lot of us struggle as transitioning leaders, transitioning out of, for the audience, either first response or military careers into a civilian career, or if you're already out and you're trying to start a company. I think a lot of us think, oh, well, in the military or as a first responder, I did whatever, I did job A, that's what I need to do as my career outside, or I need to focus on my company. You see a lot of veterans start ammunition, or not ammunition, but firearms companies, because they know how to build firearms. And so they start doing that sort of thing, or they go into the security sector because that's kind of a direct correlation. But then you see these other ones that get, break that mold and stop following their mind, and they follow their heart and get passionate about something, and they start a graphic design company or something like that, and just blow it up that way. So that's a truth to that mindset there.
I'm also often impressed what people have as skills they are not aware of. because if you are in the military, of course, you have to learn certain things, and you have to, for example, I think you have to think very strategic. And this is something that you can use everywhere. And it is not necessary to use it to build arms or something like that. You can also use it to create whatever, windmills. And yeah, so it is very important to understand what are the skills, and especially the hidden skills you're not aware of, that you can all bring into I'm missing the English word, sorry for that, to the top, and can use them. And yeah, perhaps you think about yourself. What is it? What do you have as special skills that you can use in a totally different area than you are in right now? And don't limit yourself. No, where is your heart driving you? So what would you do if you can use your skills in a totally different area?
Yeah, like you said, using your skills in different areas is key. And I did that myself. Of course, I won't go into my story again because I think the listeners have probably heard it several times. But yeah, you can't pigeonhole yourself. That was a lesson I learned as one of my first major careers, is not pigeonholing yourself into whatever you did in the military or whatever your skill set was that you learned. You got to get out there, learn new things. And then also, if you haven't learned new things, maybe you need to find out what you're passionate about and move forward with that.
What I sometimes also hear is that people tell me, oh, things come so natural to me. I don't even think that this is a certain kind of skill. And if you understand, what are people always asking you for? So are they asking you, for example, if you have a party, you have to organize it, or no, you have to make the food, or whatever it is? What are people asking you, like friends? What comes natural for you that is kind of also natural for them, because they will ask you about that?
Yeah, like you said, whatever you're good at, people are going to ask you to do. And my background in fire safety, people always think that, oh, well, I know everything about fire extinguishers and fire response, and I do know a lot about it, but that doesn't mean that I should be the go-to for everything. And then there's people in our office now that they're good at using their Cricut machine, so everybody wants them to make the T-shirts for them. And then, oh, well, this person's good at decorating, and so they always get tasked with doing the birthday parties. And so it's good, and I know some of them have taken that offline and taken that out of the office, and they do that as a hobby and a side business, and it works out well. All right, Swanette, what's your leadership mantra or your leadership motto that you go by?
Yeah, so I really think that it is important to follow yourself, like follow what is really in your heart, in your intuition. And then it is all about self-leadership, like, set yourself first with what is important for you, and then serve with that the world.
I agree. All right, and Swanette, how can we get a hold of you if we want to learn more?
Yeah, of course. I have a website. This is spiritualchangemaker.com. And you can find me also on the social media, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, with my name, Swanette Kuntze. And if you are interested in what I just have spoken about, I also have a free giveaway for your audience. That is a breakthrough coaching call with me. And I'm happy to share the link with you. Perhaps you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put all those links in the show notes below. And if you're on YouTube, we'll put it in the bar on the screen there. So, well, thanks, Swanette. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
There are thousands of leadership and management podcasts to choose from. We're glad you chose the Leadership Loading Podcast, a Go Heroes production. If you'd like to support Go Heroes Inc., visit www.goheroes.org. And with that, it's time to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for listening. We sincerely hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Let's all grow together. Thanks for listening to the Leadership Loading Podcast. Leadership Inspired.